You've chosen a pretty complex and nuanced and detailed character, so kudos for taking on a challenge like this. And I think you've done a really good job overall. I think there are some issues in some of the surfaces, but just sort of the basic shape, proportions, and your attention to detail is good. Um, First thing is this face. I'm just going to select with that, and this is a generally you want all of your faces to be four-sided, but in particular you don't want a big giant face like this that doesn't have any edges in it, because this is a many-sided face. So I would typically fix that with the multicut tool. Um, so I'm just going to duplicate this because I might try something else afterwards. But yeah, Control Shift X for the multicut tool. Wait till that little corner highlights red, and I'll click there. And then it doesn't want to go across. Oh, it will go across. Great. Okay, and start with that, and then maybe from here to doesn't want to go up there. Why not? Sometimes it has trouble crossing these kind of faces, so I'm going to hold down Shift, and you'll see it'll snap to certain points. So snaps to the center, enter, and now let's see if it lets us go from here to here. No, it will not. Okay, let's just try to do a few more first, and then do that. So maybe from here to, whoop, backspace will take you out of that. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Okay, I'm just going to go out of that tool and back in, Control Shift X. Don't know why that's not highlighting red. There we go. I just want to make sure I'm exactly clicking on the corner. Now, it's not liking going across here, which is a bit of a concern. I don't know why that is. Oh, wait. For a second it did. There we go. Okay, I was just being a little funny about that. And maybe from here to here. Gonna end up with the triangle there. I do that maybe from here to there. Okay, see that's remaining four-sided. Maybe from here to there. I think we also have some issues with some extra edges in here. Yeah, like a lot. Ooh, look at that. That's not so good. Sort of feeling like I might take a step back with this one. I'm just going to reopen the file, because normally I would start breaking it up like that, but I think there's just a lot of little issues with this. I'm wondering if there's any history where I can step things back. Looks like there is, yeah. So sometimes what I'll do is kind of step this back one at a time. Like I'll go here, select, delete, and then here, click on that, select, delete, and just keep stepping it backwards. I think the reason they don't make this easier to do is that it can mess up the surface. It's not really built to. If you go one at a time, it can be alright, but not always. It might just break the model. Thanks. Keep just clicking the tab, select, and then delete one at a time. Just trying to step it back before, for example, you had all these little edges there, because that seems like that would be difficult to get rid of. I don't even know what all these extrudes are doing. Whoops, I did not mean to hit that. This is a sort of a goofy way of having it back, but that's where it's good that you have the history. I mean, it can be good that you have the history because you have the option of doing this. I'm trying to just get it back to a point before it got sort of messed up, and see if you can move it forward a little bit from there. Um, hmm. Yeah, it might be that it's starting to fall apart now because I'm deleting all these steps, and that doesn't always really work. Usually I just do like one or two. Whoops. But there's still, I think that happened early on where you got these extra edges. Is that just an extrude? I don't know. I mean, at this point, I just think maybe start over. Because I feel like there's just enough issues with this that it's going to be hard to fix. Because it really, I mean, what I see is, I see basically a rounded cylinder, you know? So I think what I might do instead, I mean, yeah, there's just enough surface issues that I just, be hard to deal with. So, cylinder, and let's turn that on its side. I might hold down E and then go to discrete rotate, so it'll click like that, and move this up here and scale that up, you know, to that size, and then scale this in to about here, and then let's increase the subdivision's height a bunch to be able to get that rounded shape. I might increase the subdivision's axis enough to make those square again. And so to get this rounded, yeah, actually let's scale this in this way. And then maybe not that much. There's this nice tool called these nonlinear deformers under deform. Nonlinear flare. And these green circles are in that line to the middle. You can see that. That's the deformer that's going to affect this surface. And with that selected, those lines, those curves there, I can click on this flare, and it's got this curve thing in the middle. If I hold down the control key and middle mouse click and drag, you can see I can, you know, thicken that out like that, and then just wondering, I sort of don't like that shape. I kind of want it more round. I thought that'd be, I wonder if we adjust the low bound, if that, oh, that seems to help it a little bit. Maybe like minus, you know, do the same on both, minus 1.3, and make this one 1.3, something like that. Yeah, I think I like that better. That shape, maybe more. Make it, why does it want to manually select that? Just picking it here. Maybe minus 1.5. 1.5. Yeah, I like that a little better. And so then, let's say you're happy with that shape. I can delete history, Alt-Shift-D, and that'll get rid of the flare deformer, but keep the shape. Then, see, already I'm kind of a little happier with that. I needed all these extra edges just to make it nice and round there. But this side is pretty flat. I mean, even though it kind of doesn't look like it in the side view, but look, see in the front view, it really cuts off there. So I don't exactly love this, but see, well, let us bevel this edge. Control B and more segments. Yeah. So I think we're already in better shape for that. And then like maybe you could do this ridge first, so I know I'm not doing it to the photo. You should really do it to the photo, but I didn't have that image plane in there. Is that even? And then Control E, and then that just comes out a little bit, I think. And then, you know, maybe delete out, you know, some of this stuff on the bottom. I guess up to, I can't, you kind of want some extra edge. I might take this one edge here and shift right mouse click, go down to slide edge tool, middle mouse drag, you know, up to where the that cut's gonna be. And now I can add like other edges in here if I want with a multicut tool, Control Shift X, and then hold down Control. But anyway, I was gonna say like for that, you know, thing I have to cut out. I think it starts in the middle here, and let's use that one, I think. I'm just doing Control Spacebar. We'll maximize, get rid of the rest of the interface so I have more room to work with. So what, here to, I don't know, there again, really you should be using the photo. I should be using the photo, but Control Shift to add to selection. One more. Control to remove from selection. Control Shift to add. And then maybe, you know, take this whole edges and Control E for extrude, and yeah, pull that in some, you know, to give it some thickness. And maybe extrude again, Control E, and go in, you know, that way too. So you're kind of wrapping the edge to give it that feeling of thickness, without having the whole thing to actually have thickness. Yeah, and then let's see where we are compared to the rest of this. I don't know if I made the right thing. But anyway, you're starting to see how that has some better construction. So giving you some ideas of how you might move forward. You know, maybe beveling these sharper edges, and I think getting this is going to be pretty tricky. It almost needs to be a separate piece, but just giving you some ideas on that. You can keep going. Yeah, this got a little crunchy on top. Not sure why. This got a lot of extra edge. I think these bevels aren't right. I think you could have done something similar like I did here, where you like start with the cylinder, add some edges. I think again we could use something like the flare thing again, actually. So I'm just gonna, you know, take something like that. Gonna add some subdivision height. And probably don't need this these faces on the top or the bottom. Just deselecting here. Delete that and delete that and then deform nonlinear flare again. And what we didn't mess with the last time was the start flare and end flare thing, where you can make this sort of wider there and narrower at the top. And then add the curve, to kind of bulge it out. I know, again, I'm not doing it quite to the drawing, but Alt-Shift-D to delete history. And then maybe another nonlinear tool is just bend. And it puts this bend wire in the middle of it, and click on curvature, hold down Control, middle mouse drag, and I can bend the whole thing. So I know that it doesn't quite match, but I'm just kind of showing you some tools you could use to get something at least closer to the shape you're going for. And kind of and see the geometry here is much better than, there's a lot of weird geometry going on there. So anyways, just a few ideas of how you could build some of these better, but overall I think you did a really good job.